everybody, Frankie here from Vibrant Center for Voice and Movement. This past week was Suzuki Week, and I taught a couple of classes around using principles of Suzuki and being able to adapt them for on-camera acting. And in the last class you got about 3 tips at least, so it was a very packed lesson. And then afterward, of course, there have been a lot of protests and a lot of grief and anger happening, and I took that time to support people in my community, in my networks, and my friends. And it didn't feel right to be teaching what I had planned, to be honest. And so I decided it was time to let that go. I may circle back at another time when it feels right. But I wanted to create some breathing space because this is a time for people to feel their feelings and to reach out privately and connect heart to heart with each other. So with that in mind, I felt drawn to offer this instead. A sitting practice and an opportunity to do some self-healing. Part of the principles of organic intelligence is around how orienting self to your environment, being able to move out of survival mode, being able to move into engagement with the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest system, expands our bandwidth. And then that enables us to be able to meet the challenges that we may be experiencing. A lot of practices, whether you do yoga, meditation practices, tai chi, dance, whatever, it's so important to keep in mind if you're doing them, because for you that's a contractual agreement that if I drink juice and I fast and I do yoga and I meditate, that nothing bad will ever happen to me or I won't have to experience bad feelings. That doesn't work. Of course, life brings challenges, and there are challenges that are deserving of anger and sadness, of grief, of rage. And there it happens constantly to be working towards something, and something happens and it sets you back. The idea of having some kind of a practice is that it gives you support, and it also means that maybe your setback isn't as much as it could have been, that you're not back to 0, maybe you're back to +1. And with each experience, that's also an opportunity to continue to build up your capacity for resilience. I'm so aware that there's somebody doing yard work. Always, right? Always yard work. And I'm letting that in too. Hey. Yeah. That's part of my experience right now. But that as you grow and as you continue to engage in your own practice, that you acquire greater flexibility and a greater capacity to meet the challenges however they may show up in your life. So whether you are practicing this now, May 31st, I believe, yes, or at another time, I invite you to find your seat or to lie down. And I invite you to find comfort in this moment. Is there an adjustment that you can make that brings you comfort? And I want you to orient yourself outward. Start with seeing. Looking around the environment where you are, taking your eyes off the screen. I want you to focus in on what you see. And if at any time your mind wants to go into a thought, oh gosh, I have to put that away, or I should fold that, or any oh, that's a, right? Just letting that thought go, and I want you to stay with seeing. And as you are seeing, can you find something that brings you pleasure? Is there a color, or a texture, or a shape? A shadow, the way the light hits an object, the object itself that brings you pleasure. And notice that you're breathing. And now notice what you can hear. What sounds are around you? And is there a specific sound or a quality of the sound that brings you pleasure? And now can you find something to touch? It could be your own clothing, it could be your own skin, it could be the floor. And can you find something to touch that brings you pleasure? And as you do this, notice that you're breathing. And now, as you are noticing your breath, stay with that. Not that you're trying to breathe in a specific way, but just notice your inhalation. How do you know you're inhaling? And notice your exhalation. What shifts and changes in your body have to occur in that moment of transition from inhalation to exhalation? Is there a moment of pause after your exhalation? Can you feel the desire for inhalation before you move into inhalation? And now can you feel your heartbeat? Where in your body do you feel the beating of your heart? And let that go gently in 3, 2, 1. So this is a very simple practice that you can use throughout the day. You can use any time. And you can also use it in parts. You can simply take a moment to notice something your eyes would like to look at and let that be enough. Or you could take a moment to notice your own heartbeat and where in your body you feel that and let that be enough. I'm feeling so acutely at this time that there is a big theme in the consciousness of the community where I am of intensity and a feeling of lack of time and an unsettled energy, but sometimes not always sure what should be done. And what I offer is that at times when there's a feeling of lack of time, a feeling of intense pressure, that is actually the time to rest and to do little. And that then the actions that are taken out of that will be well considered, will be articulate, will be planned and effective. To connect this to acting, so often actors I see get an audition and it's the immediate stress response kicks in. Even this is very inconvenient that this is happening right now. And what are we doing that this is our career, this is supposed to be something we love, and then the immediate response when there's an opportunity to do it is resistance and is anger or stress or indignation instead of pleasure, instead of joy, instead of playfulness. When we're experiencing something around us that is unjust, let that call come from empathy. Let that call come from your own humanity, responding to the humanity of others. And then that colors your words and your actions and your intentions than if it was misplaced anxious energy or anger or the desire for destruction. There are things that need to change and there are things that need to be destroyed so something better can come up and let go of. And I also find that in myself, that there are things I need to let go of and allow myself to drop and to give up my ego, my knowledge, my sense of who am I, so that something really yummy can come up. I'm also very much feeling that at this moment words are not enough. And I've also offered words to people in my community, and breath and heart and actions. And so this is a time to be. This is a time to sit with emotions, to sit with seemingly opposite things, and to acknowledge that those things that seem to be in opposition can actually still be true at the same time. And I'm making small adjustments and orienting myself to pleasure again. And I'm watching the leaves outside my window as they're gently moving in the air. And I'm also holding in my heart a community of people who are hurting and healing and fighting and standing and marching. And I'm letting my jaw go, and I'm feeling my breath and my own body and humanity in this moment, which allows me to grow in empathy. To finish off, what I want to say is empathy is absolutely a cornerstone of human survival. It has allowed us to come together and work together to survive. And by feeling my own uniqueness, my own experience, my own personalness and difference, has been proven by science to enable me to be open to others, to respect their uniqueness, and to be more collaborative and functional as a group. So whatever you feel, regardless of your situation, regardless of where you live, regardless of politics, I invite you to feel your own body and sit with whatever is coming up for you, while also engaging in pleasure and inviting comfort into your own body. This will allow you to soften around your experience. To finish off with, take a breath for yourself. Take a breath for anyone else who is also engaging with this video in whatever time and place they are. You are united, you are a community. And lastly, let's take a breath for our humanness, our mortality, our bodies. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you all again soon. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Bye.